Hey Witches of the Moon, it is Jess Spellbound here. Hi! Hope you guys all had a good week. Merry Wednesday. This week, welcome back to season 12. I am unsure of what week this is, but welcome back. It's good to see you and I'm happy you're all here. So this week we are talking about servitors, how to create them, and what their purpose is. So I don't have a lot of storage drive, so I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet. As always, I try not to watch anybody else's video because I want to make sure I kind of wrap my brain around, and I virtually knew not a whole lot about servitors until having to look this up, and it's unfortunate that I have to keep it short because I'd really like to go into a whole lot more about this. These are so interesting, and in my limited viewpoint, a very serious type of magic, because anything that you're putting your energy into and creating something like that, okay, roll back. So a servitor is a thought brought to life, essentially. So the best way that I heard it explained was from a man on YouTube. His name is Azriel. He goes into, he has a pretty decently long video about servitors, egregores, and tulpas. And basically a servitor is like a robot. You're giving, they have no independent thought. You are creating a thought brought to life. Even if it's just an energy, which is pretty cool. So you basically give them a job. They have a job to do. If you want, let's say you want to find a new job, you're going to create a servitor. I'm only using this because this is literally what's handy. So here is one of my kitchen witches that I'm making. And if I decided to use this as the totem, as my focal point, you can use regular clay. You can use whatever you want. I like clay because I like to mold things. I like to be able to mix herbs in. See how this has like a hole in the bottom? So I could roll up a tiny piece of parchment of what I want the servitor to do, a task. I could roll it in there, stuff it with herbs, stuff it, put little crystals in there if I wanted, seal it up, and then really concentrate on bringing this to life. I would meditate with it. I would push energy into it. You could blow on it. And give that thought form life. You are using your own energy. You're pushing your own energy out of your body and giving it a job to do. This is for you. Now, you do have to feed them, so it is something that takes that you have to maintain. And you can feed it by energy. You can feed it with something physical, but from what I've heard and what I've read, they really do feed on energy. And if you're not feeding it energy, and in this ritual, in your spell work, you're not saying, if you are not fed within 3 days, we're going to dissipate this. You have to be very vigilant with this. So that's why I feel like I take it, in my mind, it's a much more serious ritual to do, because it's not something you can forget about. If it's something you forget about, then it's gathering its own energy from wherever wherever it can find. And if that energy is not in line with the task that you're creating, you now have a energy that is around you that is like chaotic energy, because it has no more focal point. So, as always, protect yourself from, I know I probably seem like a really lazy witch, or like I don't do enough protection for myself. And recently I found out that I could definitely use better wards, and I can definitely protect myself more than I normally would have. But with something like this, when you're giving life to a thought, you really need to be able to protect yourself, and you really have to stay vigilant of making sure to feed it properly and to take care of it. And once that energy, once your servitor has created its task, has successfully completed its task, you need to be able to dissipate it. You need to be able to say, okay, job done. So I can't honestly, and I can't with my own conscience, tell you how to do that because I know nothing about it. I'm giving you like a very broad idea of what they are. So if you feel like this is something that you want to do, please do your research. There are varying degrees of ideas about servitors, and some of them are really easy, and other ones are much more complicated. And I tend to lie somewhere in the center, somewhere in the middle with that, because I don't think that it should be really easy to create a entity, a being out of your thoughts with your energy without doing the work. You know, of knowing that you are good at meditation, knowing that you're good at protecting yourself. There's so many facets to this that, you know, I think that just do your research and you know what? But at the end of the day, do whatever suits you. If it doesn't have to be this big thing, if it doesn't have to be, you know, and you're comfortable with it and you're good with it, then do it. But it is, a servitor is essentially like an astral robot who's going to go out and do your bidding. All right, you guys, I am sorry. I am sick. I work in the school system, so I am constantly catching things from my kids. Maybe I will definitely at some point approach this topic again, because the tulpas and the egregores and the golems, there's so many different ideas with this and so many different different places to go with it. So this is a really interesting week and a really interesting concept. So good luck, you guys. If I can help lead you in any way, excuse me, leave a comment below. As always, have a wonderful week. See you next time. Bye, you guys.